Hello, girls. Good morning. Today is March 29, 2020, Sunday. So, this is the first day of week 11. So, I am now in page 315 of your skills handbook, where we'll be discussing lesson 3. How do scientists answer questions? Scientists, they use methods and ways to do their works. Scientific methods are organized ways to answer questions and solve problems. So, especially nowadays, girls, in our current situation, we have health issues or problem worldwide. So, how do scientists solve this issue, or how do scientists solve this problem? How do they answer the questions of many people? So, scientific method could help them to solve the problem. Our problem is the spread of coronavirus. Okay, and then that coronavirus, okay, causes a lot of problem to people, and that causes death, health problems, and issues of many different kinds, okay, that brought us to this situation. Okay, so scientists are really in hectic period now finding solutions, including all the government personals, okay, and all the government workers. They need to find solution for this situation right now. So there are ways how to find the answer. So for scientists do not always use the same methods. Other scientists, they find other ways to solve the issues and concerns. They do not follow the methods in rigid order. As I mentioned, some scientists, they use different ways how to figure out the answer. Scientists record their methods so it can be repeated accurately. So they need to write it in the paper, they need to encode it in the computer so that if they want to come back on that experiment, they have some record and information. Scientific methods includes experiments, observation, survey, and sampling. What is the meaning of survey? Survey is a way how to gather answer. They use a questionnaire. Okay, they use a questionnaire is a piece of paper where all questions are written there. So they give it to the people so that they know the answers of the people. Okay, and then they gather it. After that one, they need to record all the answers. Okay, so that is how hectic the work of a scientist is. So let's go to question number 1. Underline the definition of scientific method. We've done it already here. And then here in number 2, cross out the statement that is not true. Okay, survey are one type of scientific method. Is it true? Yes, that is true. As I mentioned here a while ago, okay, that survey is a method of asking questions. Now, the scientific method follows a rigid order. Is it true or false? Okay, it's false. That's why I cross it out. Why? It says here, scientists do not always use the same methods. Okay, they do not follow the methods in rigid order. That's why I cross it out. It says they do not follow, okay, the methods in rigid order. Scientists make careful observation. Yes, that is true. Let's go to number 3. Let's ask questions. Suppose the scientist in the picture here wants to see how petrels care for their young. A petrels is a big bird in Arctic region. And a petrel bird has a long beak with a tube here. Okay, it's a unique kind of beak. Okay, so this beak is used for breathing of the petrel's bird. Now, the scientist wants to know how this bird take care of its young. Young meaning baby. What scientific method can she use to answer her question? She can use observation. She can also do experiment with the bird, and then she could also use another samples. Okay, samples are examples. That is the meaning of samples. Now, a bouncing ball experiment. Okay, this part in your book will tell you the steps of the experiment. Okay, so the first step of the experiment is, of course, you need to ask a question. In this experiment, okay, the question is, how high will the ball bounce on the different surfaces? I will repeat, this is the question that you need to figure out the answer. How high will the ball bounce on a different surface? What are the materials or what are the surfaces that you're going to use? You have a carpet. You also have the wooden surface, wood, and then a rubber surface. We're going also to use a ball. We're going to use the same ball for these three surfaces. At the same time, we are going also to use a ruler to measure the height of the bounce of the ball. The next step is, after asking question, is you need to state your hypothesis. Hypothesis is a guess to your it's a wild guess to your question. It says here, hypothesis is the possible answer to your question. As I mentioned, it's a wild guess. Okay. The hypothesis here is, if I drop the ball, then it will bounce highest on the rubber mat, because the rubber mat is the most flexible among these three. That is the hypothesis they mention here. Now, the next step of doing the experiment is identify and control the variables. What is the meaning of variables here? When we are doing the experiment, there are three types of variables mentioned here. In this experiment, there are three types of variables. I will show it here. Types of variables are independent variables, dependent variable, and then the control variables. When we are talking about independent variable, this is the one thing you change in the experiment. In this kind of experiment, the one that you change is the type of liquid that you are pouring in the pot. Okay? And then the dependent variables is the change that is happening because of the different type of liquid here. I will repeat, dependent variable is the change that happens because of the different liquid that you are putting here. And then the control variable is, you are using same plants. Okay, you are using the same type of plants. There are three plants here, but they have the same. They are the same kind. You use also the same height of the plant, and you also use the same sizes and color of the pot. In this experiment, the independent variable here is the type of surface. And then the independent variable is the measurement of the height. Okay, so this is the cause or the reason of different measurement of the height of the ball, because you use different types of surface. And then the control variables are the type of the ball. We use the same ping pong ball for these three surfaces. At the same time, the height that you're going to drop the ball is in same measurement. We use a long measure, we use a same ruler here, a long ruler. Okay. Now, let's go here. Number 4. What are some of the control variables? The height of the ball, the height the ball is dropped from, and then the ball itself. As I mentioned here, the control variables are the type of the ball, at the same time the height of the ball that you're going to drop. So we use one long meter stick for this one, or the long ruler for this. Now, you need to test your hypothesis. This is the next step. You need to drop the ball in the same height using the rubber mat. You also need to drop the ball in the same height using the carpet surface, and then now using the wooden surface. Okay? Now, after testing your hypothesis, you need to collect and record the data. Once you drop the ball here, you need to measure how high it bounces. You need to write it in the paper. Same also here in the carpet and in the wooden surface. Now, after that one, you need to interpret your data. You need to compare. Some scientists, they do charts. They do a diagram to compare. In number 5, write a new hypothesis about how high the ball will bounce on a different surface. So now you are comparing. If I drop the ball, then it will bounce the highest on the wood because the wood is the hardest surface. Okay? So that is the possible answer to this one. I'm so sorry because we don't have the way how to do this experiment, okay, because we don't have the lab now. But if you have something like this at home, you could try it. Now, in number 6, text the feature. Why are pictures shown with some of the steps? Why are the pictures shown with some of the steps? Why do we need to put it in an order way? The picture help other scientists who will repeat the experiment. We need to record it. We need to put it in pictures so that if you're going to study, you have something to look back. You have a reference. Okay? So let's proceed here. Okay, we're done with this step, and then some scientists, they repeat their study, they repeat their experiment to get a more better result. Because maybe sometimes when you do it at first, you have a good result, but when you do it in the second time, you had a bad result. So they need to do it again so that they will have a good answer and a sure answer. Let's make a summary for this lesson. Experiment steps are asking a question. Next is state your hypothesis. Identify the control variables. Number 4, test your hypothesis. Number 5, collect and record your data. And then next is interpret your data. Number 7 is state your conclusion. And number 8, try it again. Do all scientists try all their experiment again? Yes, they try and try it again so that they will get a sure and exact answer to this question. Okay, so I will continue this lesson in part 2 of the video. See you there.